The Mike and Tony Show is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
This is Lacey McDonald from Project X.
This is Justin Freeman with Jaywalkers Apparel.
Hey guys, this is Adrienne Dobbs from NutriShop Parker, and you are listening to The Mike and Tony Show.
Hey, this is Jose Francisco Espinoza, and you guys are listening to The Mike and Tony Show.
Hey everybody, this is Mitch Jones.
This is Luke Sisna.
This is Pro Strongman Stan Carradine.
This is Daylina Tennant.
Hey guys, this is Mark the Couch Guy.
Yeah, you fuck with your boy Antoine Sachs, Puff Up Beer representative.
Thanks for listening to The Mike and Tony Show.
And just remember, we are not doctors.
It's episode 150, Pierce.
150.
150 episodes. 150 times we sat down and did this.
Yeah.
I was doing the math, though. We're
152. There's 2 episodes that we lost.
2?
Forever.
Or
no,
episode
1.
5. Yeah, just episode 5.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, so technically, yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
We should have celebrated last week then.
Well, if there's no evidence, it didn't happen though. So, we'll never know that episode 5 was on. So, Fran, you were on episode 1, episode 50, episode 100, and now 150, bro.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me back on.
Yeah, dude. Looks like you've been training again. Yes.
Yeah, I've been back in the gym. I've been working out again, pretty consistently. So,
how's it feel to be back at it? And
well, it's a little different now at my age. I'm in my 40s now, so
yeah,
I'm not a spring chicken anymore. So I'm dealing with lots of not injuries, just little aches and pains compared to when I was in my 20s and 30s. But I'm slowly getting back there.
Yeah, age is a real thing. We were talking about it. I was talking about it to a fellow teacher. He's like 48 or something like that now, and just talking about. And he's in great shape. Plays basketball all the time. Works out. Does everything. And still, blood sugar and those things catch up with you if you're not really diligent. You don't eat clean for long periods of time. So,
yeah. Well, I'm not sure it's about eating clean, just eating the right things and having your calories and macros
I guess
in check.
When I say clean, I mean not heavily processed, full of stuff, like large amounts of it over time. Like if you eat fast food, just 4 times a week for 10
garbage.
years, you're going to have a much higher chance of heart disease.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
All that good stuff.
But besides that, everything's been going well. I'm now a dad, married.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, you said your boy's like a year. How old again?
He's a year and a half now.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
Time flies by,
my little
dude.
boy. It's crazy. Total blessing, though. But your life changes completely when you have kids.
Yep.
And your main focus and your priority is on them. So you really don't have as much time in the gym, or I don't have as much time in the gym as I used to, because I just have to adjust my schedule, you could say, so I can get into the gym.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, it was like back in the days we used to do like 2 a days.
Well, back in the day, back in the day, when I was dating, or single, even when I was engaged, I could still go to the gym twice a day.
Yeah.
I really didn't have, to worry about my son or things like that. And then on top of it, just getting older, I have to deal with aging parents as well. So, I have to help them out and stuff like that.
That's a real thing too.
So, yeah, I'm just, it's called life. But besides that, everything's going well. I am kind of on the fence, but we're going to see if I want to step back on stage.
Oh, shit.
2025, I believe. Not this upcoming year, maybe, depending on my knees and stuff and my rehab. But if things all work out, God willing, 2025, I will come back for my last appearance on stage.
For sure last?
For sure last. Yeah, I'll be 43 by then.
What if
44.
you crush it, though? What if you just kill everybody?
Well, I've been watching. I still follow, the top bodybuilders, the top guys that I used to compete against. And, I'm not overly impressed, I could say. The guys they look good, but I'm not like, wow. There was one guy I was like, wow, he looked really good. But I'm like, I can bring it. I can come back. I'm not impressed by anyone's legs. I don't want to sound like, what's the word, like proud or boastful or something, about,
you should be, bro.
about,
Legs are ridiculous.
my leg development, but even though like my legs are lagging a little bit since I've been dealing with knee issues, I haven't really been impressed by anyone's legs to this day. So,
well, it's just wild to think, like back in the day, like your legs were so ridiculous that I remember like you had to get bigger pants, but at the time like your waist was like so small that like everything was like baggy and your like pants were like cinched up at the top because you had to account for your legs. Like
yeah,
try to fit in
I have
so
a weird shape. It's hard just to get clothes in general for guys that work out these days.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Because
last episode
with Mike.
A couple episodes.
2 episodes.
Yeah.
Because if you work out, you have big arms, big shoulders, big chest, small waist. And then if you work out your legs, the same thing. You're gonna have big quads, a big butt, small waist. So clothes is gonna fit you super tight. So if you get like a medium, it won't fit you anymore.
And then you got the folded over waistline.
Or if you get a large, it will fit you, but then it looks huge around your waist. So pros and cons of working out, you could say.
Yeah, I don't know. It's worth it, bro. That sounds like a super pro to me. I mean, you are a pro. So.
He's like, it seems like a good problem to have.
Yeah.
My clothes don't fit in the right way. Like,
right. Yeah, my clothes don't fit either. Oh, no. Yeah, that's not what's going on. That's cool, man. So I love hearing that. I kind of want to talk about where you're at with things, Pierce, because there was talk of...
Well, that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, he wanted Pierce to compete.
Yeah.
I want Mike... So Mike's like a great friend of mine, and he's always in the gym. He's a gym rat just like me, and he loves to work out and train, and it's like part of his life, you know?
Yeah.
It's like every day he's like, I got to go to the gym and work out. So I told him, I was like, bro, you got a lot of muscle, because a lot of my friends are like, bro, Mike's a big dude. I was like, yeah. The thing is, he has to dice and get down, lose a body fat.
Yeah.
To show off all that hard work he's put in.
Yeah.
So I told him, I was like, hey, if you really want to work, like compete, you would have to diet for, I would say, 8 months. Like a long 8 months.
And what does that look like? What would that look like?
It's not that bad, actually, because if you diet correctly, you will maintain most of your muscle. You'll still be eating, a good quantity of calories still. But it's a slow process to do it right. If you crash diet, you're going to lose muscle. You're going to get weak. You're going to look flat. Yeah. You won't look right. And I've learned that the hard way because I did that the first time.
Yep, I remember.
Yeah. So
you did win though, right?
Oh, yeah, I did win.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's a slow process if you do it right.
Yep.
So I was discussing with Mike the other day about boxers and UFC fighters and
like how bad that is for them.
Yeah, just how horrible it is for them and the way they do it and like the people that are behind the scenes. I'm like, you guys are multi-million-dollar professional athletes. Machines, you know what I mean? And you guys have the dumbest, literally the dumbest nutritionists and,
That's what I was telling them too, is like sometimes it's only like that 8 weeks though. Sometimes you only get 6 weeks, like before you're notified of a fight.
Well, yeah.
You have to be like ready.
If
like,
they're,
but that's what he was arguing. He was like, yeah, but if you're a professional athlete, you should be athlete all the time.
You should be 10 pounds from shape all the time.
Yeah, and there are some.
Yeah.
They're the minority for sure.
Yeah.
But if you're making that amount of money, that's your livelihood, that's your living.
Take it serious, man.
You're going to take it serious 100%. You should just stay around 10 pounds from your weight. And then diet correctly. Lose the body fat, maintain your strength, maintain, everything. And then when it's time to fight, you're golden. You're set to go. You're not worried about depleting, losing water, all that stuff. Because when you lose all that water weight, it's like havoc on your body.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
even things like
feel horrible, and your body won't perform the same way it would if you're fully hydrated and fully carbed up and good to go, compared to when you're depleted. So
yeah,
I just don't get how they do it.
Yeah, the first person I thought of when you started talking about that was Ricky Hatton. Yeah. You remember him, the boxer? Yep. Ricky Hatton?
Yeah.
That dude would get so
or
Paddy Pimblett. Yeah. In UFC.
These British guys, they just like to gain 50 pounds and then they cut 50 in, those 8 weeks.
I imagine in the long term, dude, it's got to be so bad for you.
Oh, yeah. Mentally, too.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it, but after time, it's going to get harder and harder for them, honestly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and you got youth on your side, and your body's a little more resilient.
Yeah, most of that. But yeah, that's what, like you said, when he was talking about coming back, he's like, I'm going to step on the stage. He's like, and you're going to do men's bikini. That's what he calls it.
Oh, men's physique.
Yeah.
Men's bikini.
He's like, because you big. He goes, but you got like tiny calves, bro. I was
Those
like,
John
dude.
Jones
I
calves.
was like, dang. Yeah, that was my joke around the.
Well, Mike's so tall.
Kevin Durant
Yeah.
said the Slim Reaper. I got Slim Reaper legs.
Yeah. Where are your thoughts with it, though? Have you thought about it? 8 months of dieting, that seems, I mean, if you're getting a lot of calories, it seems very sustainable.
I've worked with Mike before, like with his diet, and he got down, we dropped him 30 pounds.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. Remember that?
Yeah.
215.
Yeah. That was like the lightest I think I've ever seen him.
You just have to like stay at it. Or what were you down to then?
I think the lowest I got to was 211, the lowest, but I was like at 215.
211?
Yeah. He was trying to give me to 200.
The thing with bodybuilding and with any type of sport like that, it's discipline. It's all mental discipline. So you have to stick to it and be able to stick to it for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of guys in the gym who ask me, how do you look that way? Or how do you do this? What's your secret? I'm like, consistency, time, and you're dedicated to it. So you're going to be sticking to it, sticking to your diet for 8 months to a year. And like right now it's off season for me, but I'm trying to stick. I'm about 95% hitting my macros right now every single day, and I've seen my body change because I've been hitting my macros.
So in the last, like, say 5-10 years or whatever, like when you're not competing and stuff, do you track your macros full time?
So I stopped tracking. I stopped eating pretty much. I lost tons of muscle and gained tons of body fat. When I got married, I had like a 2-year layoff, I would say, where I wasn't even working out. I like completely stopped.
For 2 years?
Like a year and a half.
Yeah.
I was out of the gym.
Wow.
And my body completely changed because I was just eating crap. I just became like a normal, like, civilian, you'd say. So I was just eating everything and anything I wanted, and I wasn't eating enough. I was eating the wrong things. I wasn't working out.
Calories were high, macros were way off.
Yeah. And your body composition just changes, and you lose, tons of muscle because you're not eating enough protein. You're not working out. And I just went to crap pretty much. I got my dad bod, as you could say.
During that period, was there a difference in all in your like mentality, your mindset, your moods, your?
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of things going on at that point in time. Recently got married. We just had started a family. So when you, I would say like that very first year with my son, like my main focus was just him. So I really didn't have time to go to the gym.
Just weren't really, yeah.
And then he got really sick. I remember, like, what was it?
October-ish.
It was honestly like he was like 2 or 3 months old, and he got RSV. And then we had to take him to Children's Hospital.
That, yeah, dude.
He was at Children's for like a week, 7 days, I think, in intensive care. So that was scary. And he was like on on oxygen and all that stuff. So and just imagine a little baby, like a 3-month-old baby.
Oh yeah.
So that was like one of the scariest things in my life. And then after that, just adjusting to having a child because he's my first son.
Yep.
So you're always like overprotective, and you always want to be there, and those types of things. So it wasn't until I would say this last year when I started getting the itch again, like the end of last year. And then when I started working out again, I really started noticing my body just click. It just started coming back.
Muscle memory and all that.
Yeah, muscle memory. It just started coming back. Boom, boom, boom.
So was it a moment? Did you have a moment where you're like, it's time to get started again? Or
I think it was when you got sick, dude, and you were like, man, my body is killing me.
Yeah, that's when I got sick. My body just wasn't feeling right.
He didn't even get COVID. He had RSV, and his this is the sickest I've ever seen this man. Like he was.
I got pneumonia
and RSV.
Yeah,
he wasn't getting any sleep.
Yeah,
he wasn't working out at all.
Yeah, I was just going through a lot of stress at that point in time in my life. So I got really sick, and then I would say it was when I just started. Yeah, I think it was like around Christmas time.
Yeah,
I just really, really started just going back to the gym. I was like, I need to go back. And it sucked, to be honest with you. Like, it was like a normal guy who hasn't trained, and I was in so much pain for, I would say, the first 6 weeks back in the gym. Like, oh man, this is horrible. Like, my body can't take this anymore.
He was like texting me. He's like, I can barely do 185 on the bench.
Yeah, I was so weak, like so weak. Yeah, you
but it probably popped back really fast.
Yeah, it comes back fast, especially when you've been training for decades. Your body gets used to it.
Yeah.
So I was dumb, and I started trying to lift heavy fast instead of smart. Slowly work my way up.
Yeah.
So I started having elbow issues, and I think some knee. Well, these knees, I think it's just because of years and years of heavy squatting. On top of getting older,
and then your injuries,
as well. So.
Yeah, we were talking right before the show about knees.
Yeah,
mine were unusually quiet today. I swear, like
I've been taking that joint stuff.
I've been taking that, but honestly, I was reading too how beneficial, how much inflammation goes down with the cold plunge, and I've been doing it religiously, and that's so crazy because I remember I was working out with my son one time. We were doing squats, and we both had headphones in.
Yeah,
and I work out by myself, and I'm so used to my knee at this point. It never hurts, bro. I don't have any pain in my knee, knock on wood. But it sounds crazy. You've heard it, Pierce. I mean, it didn't sound like today.
No.
And so I was working out with my son one time, and he just he took his headphones off, and he was like, "Yo, Dad." He was like, "What the hell is wrong with your knee, dude?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, you heard that."
That popping is probably due to like mobility stuff. You just have to start as you get older, and I've noticed myself, especially on like a leg day, I'm going to be doing mobility work for a good 30 minutes before I even start working out. So I start foam rolling. I start doing stretches. A lot of different types of band work, things like that to try to get loose, especially my hips. Like I was showing you how when one side of my hip is completely tight compared to the other, which causes tons of knee issues. So things like that, really, really stretch out, get warmed up right before you start squatting. And then that will help with the knees.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah.
That will help with everything now, especially as we get older.
I know. I don't do it enough because I'm hearing it so much now. How much mobility work do you do, Pierce?
Like your shoulders, you should do it especially for your elbows,
I do
shoulders.
Those, like the wall ones.
Those are good.
Those are the best. Yeah. So when I had those shoulder issues, and he remembers too, I went to PT, and they had me do all these crazy like mobility exercises and stretches and stuff like that. 1,000% helped. And so so I'll do those same mobility things for like my shoulders and my chest and everything. And then like for my legs, same thing like he does. Like before I squat and everything like that, I'll like stretch out my calves, my quads, my hamstrings.
Well, calves I always do.
Yeah.
Because of, remember when I had plantar, dude, I hate that. Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, trying to avoid that. So
start doing tibia stuff too. So not just calves, but tibia work as well.
That's your
front, right?
Your front, yeah. Your front. You do your shin splints.
So when you're doing arms, you do your biceps and your triceps, right?
Yeah.
Front and back.
For sure, makes sense. I wouldn't even know what to do. I'd have to look it up.
Like toe raises.
Oh yeah, okay. Obviously, it makes sense.
Toe raises, or I was telling him what I like to do is get the kettleball.
That works too. I actually did that the other day.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
And you like put it at the end of like a bench or something, and you just lift up. You put the kettlebell on your shoe.
And that's actually really good for your knees too.
So.
Oh, cool. Good, dude. Dude, I'm learning so much stuff. I try to absorb. It's funny how you say the discipline, though, because that's where it's at for me. Because I was working out really consistently starting in October, ironically.
And that's for, I would say, 99% of general population. It's consistency.
Yeah.
You'll see them, hey, it's New Year's. Everyone's at the gym.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting a membership.
Right.
The gym's packed until end of February. Then it dies out. Everyone says, oh, I'm going to work out. I'm going to get in shape. And then they stop. Or they continue to work out, but their diet's trash. And that's the hardest thing. I would say the hardest thing is your diet.
I know. That is what I struggle the most with. And I did well for a while, and then it's like, my life, bro. There's so much good food
hard.
all the
it's
time.
hard.
Yeah,
and then if you like, for example, like the other day at work, the office, we had burritos. Breakfast burritos, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna look what the macros are on these like burritos.
I told them about
These are little breakfast burritos.
4 days worth of fat.
Oh yeah, it was Santiago's, right? And it's
for sure. Bro, I've looked up the macros on those.
And it was like 28 grams of fat.
30 grams of fat per burrito. And
per burrito.
Burrito's tiny.
And that's tiny. I know.
And I'm trying to have around 65 grams of fat a day. I'm like, what?
How the hell are you gonna?
You're like, this is a third of my day. Here in this burrito.
So it's just crazy,
or half the day almost,
because they call it cheeseburger, or like it's made of meat.
Yeah.
And if you look at the macros, it's all fat, and like it would be. So if you look at one of the patties from, say, for example, McDonald's,
okay,
the macros on one of those patties, I bet is 25 fat, 8 protein,
8.
Yeah, so, Mike, if you want to look it up,
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, so you're having a fat burger, not a real meat burger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's at restaurant. That's
and that's the same thing at restaurants too, unless you get like a lean bison burger or something like that.
That's why
I like to make burgers at home.
Exactly.
So I'll get lean meat. So I'll get like the 93.7.
Yep.
Or something like that.
That's what me and my wife were just talking about too. Even making tacos, anything that we do, it's like
lean. You can make the same delicious foods. It tastes exactly the same, but just use lean meat, because what they do is they'll use that high fatty meat because it's cheaper.
Okay, so this is from their site, and it's actually better than you think. It's but it is 28 grams of fat.
The 30 nailed it on the fat.
Look how it's like that little
tiny thin little.
But 30 grams of protein, because it's also the cheese and the cheeseburger too.
Oh yeah,
and then 67 grams of carbs.
That's for what? Just
one cheeseburger. Yeah,
that's bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you could have a huge meal, like a huge plate of food, of clean food.
And that's what I meant with the clean. Like I've noticed that before. Like I've been forcing myself to have fruits for my snacks, or like just more vegetables and stuff like that in between meals. Because my problem is not having clear meals. When I'm doing that, I do really good.
Yeah.
But when I start slipping, and then it becomes like this grazing thing where I'm just like eating. I'm like, I'll eat when I'm hungry.
If you're eating enough fiber, you should stay full. And you're eating like enough volume, you should stay full.
Yeah.
So
fiber and protein I've been trying to work on.
And volume, like the amount of food. So you can find foods that have lots of volume, dense.
Yeah.
That can keep you satiated, for a longer period of time.
Yeah, that's key. Well, I've noticed, because like I struggle because I tried to do like everyone does that intermittent fasting. Do you do that? Or you don't do that?
Yeah, my last meal's at 6:30 usually every day.
From 6:30 to when?
Till like 10.
10 the next morning.
Yeah, so like 18 hours.
I sometimes do that.
That's not too bad.
I'll sometimes have I'll have like a shake in the morning, and then I won't eat until noon, and then I'll start having my meals. Especially now when I'm sitting down at the office or at work all day long.
So that's why I always joke around when I'm at work.
Yeah, he's always eating.
I have like at 10, like when we're having our meetings, I'm eating my first breakfast, I call it, and then my second breakfast I have like around noon. And so our boss, I'm like I'm eating second breakfast. She always cracks up because because I told you how much I eat for breakfast, and that's my second breakfast on that time, and then I'll eat lunch like 2.
Well, see, and that's the key for me is that because I was to find my workout time. Kids. I got 3 kids. I got a busy family, busy ass job, and so I have to get up at 4. So that I do a cold plunge in the morning, and then I hit the weights. And I was doing that from October through right before we went to Hawaii.
What time do you go to bed then?
I shoot for like 8 o'clock.
Oh wow!
Like I know it doesn't usually happen. I can usually be asleep before 9. But in an ideal world, I'm like getting ready at 7:30, trying to just during the week though, because I wake up so damn early.
He texted me at 6 o'clock this morning, dude.
Yeah, no, I slept in today.
I was up early this morning too on a Saturday.
Yeah, I don't sleep in. I have a hard time sleeping in.
But he's since changed his workout style, because now he just like does you're working out after you're doing the cold plunge. You're working out after you do the cold plunge?
You have to. I don't do it after because it can blunt like
hypertrophy.
Hypertrophy, yeah, exactly. So because of that. I do it before, and then I also give myself, that's why it's 4 a.m. Like I have to give myself a gap to kind of warm my body up. Otherwise, then I'm going to be prone to injuries trying to throw weights.
Do you have a bath here?
Yeah, I do out in the back.
Oh, wow.
I finally got a system. I don't have like a fancy one. I bought one for like $130 or something like that. Yeah. But it's just a pool or whatever. And it's been great, but now that it's starting to warm up, I had to come up with a system. So I bought this cheap little freezer I put in the garage. And then I bought these like big Tupperware things.
And just fill them up.
And I just fill them up with water, and then it freezes the water. So like this morning when I jumped in, when I went out there this morning, it was 60, the water was 63 degrees, and you've got to get it at least under 60 for it to be
for it to work.
For it to get all the benefits and stuff. And so I threw in 5 of those big ass ice cubes and just let them melt. And then I went over with like our clean shovel and was like breaking them up and stuff and stirring it up. And I got the water down to, today it was 43 degrees.
And how long do you do it for?
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
And then I do that 4 times a week. At least.
Do you feel the benefits of it though?
Hell yeah, bro. I tell Mike, I don't shut up about it. Like I couldn't.
It's just like your soreness or like your knee, like joints.
It's good for that too, for like athletes or people who are really pushing it. But for me, I mean, it does so many things. Like it boosts your immune system,
mental clarity.
There's like an extended several hour boost in like dopamine.
Yeah.
So my mood is so different, dude. Like,
really?
Like I'll go to work if I'm don't, and that's why I have to do it at least 4 times a week, but I do it more than that usually, because if I miss it and then I have a rough day at work, dude, I'm just like a different person. Like I get so grouchy and I'm just like irritated all day.
They say negative.
So it's kind of
to
like
optimize the best of the benefits, you need at least 11 minutes a week.
Yeah.
For the cold plunge.
So I do 3 times 4 is 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And then on my extra days, I'm just picking up extra.
I might have to try that.
He got excited one day.
I've never tried it before. I've heard a lot of cons for it, but
have you? Oh, I'd love to hear that.
Well, we talked about the pros and cons in it, but like, you know, for the hypertrophy and stuff like that.
Yeah, for muscle building.
But you have to do it the first thing in the morning. You can't just do it like at night. Or
and if you do it at night, it can mess with your sleep too.
Yeah, because
of course
you're raising your dopamine levels. And
you're better to do sauna at night if you do that. And then cold.
Sauna's also really good for you too.
Oh yeah. Similarly, yeah.
That's why we were joking around on one of the podcasts because Tony got the cold plunge. And I was like, I'm going to get the sauna because those saunas nowadays are relatively cheap. You can put it inside your house.
Basement.
And we were joking around like we can do the cold plunge at Tony's, and then at night we just go to the sauna at my house. Like,
yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, no, it's I'm curious to hear, you said some of the downsides of cold plunge.
From what I've read and just articles and stuff, not from, my knowledge, but from what I've read, I've heard it blunts muscle growth and testosterone levels as well. So I'm not too sure though.
Yeah, I've heard it's actually supposed to be the opposite with testosterone, and the blunting of muscle growth is totally legit. But that's why professional athletes who like do ice baths after they work out, it's so that it's quicker recovery.
Yeah.
So that they could just get right back at it. They're not trying to build muscle. They're not trying to do any of those things. But the studies are pretty clear that it's all a timing issue. Mm-hmm. Like you can literally do a cold plunge and work out within an hour afterward, and there's no benefit. I mean, there's no negative sides other than, to me, it's just common sense. I don't think I've seen studies on it, but it's common sense that if you're super cold, and your tendons are all tight and cold, and you just go in there and start throwing up big weight, you're probably asking for an injury. So I definitely warm up and like get my blood flowing again. And you're not supposed to take a hot shower right after either, because
then you just lose it.
Yeah, some of the benefits, because it also boosts your metabolism, because it causes your body to like have to reheat itself. So people get real extreme with it. Like they get out of the cold. Like for me, first thing, dude,
jump in the snow.
I grab that towel. Yeah, but they like walk around with no shirt and just like let themselves air dry and don't dry off, so that it takes longer and longer for their body to warm up. I don't got time for all that. Like, dude, that's all right. I'm drying off immediately, pretty much. But yeah, no, but I feel great. I start feeling great within 5 minutes of getting out.
All right.
And
is your son doing that as well for football?
He's been talking about wanting to try it, but he's been all talk so far.
He's only had one of his kiddos try it.
Yeah, Jessie tried it. She kept talking about it, and I said, "Hey, it's a good day. The water's not that cold. It's like 52 degrees right now, so it's enough to shock your body." But the cool thing about it, what I learned really quickly was, you panic for about 30 seconds, no matter what, no matter how much you prepare mentally. Fuck this. So when I first get in, I just breathe real heavy for 30 seconds. and just get used to it. And then once I hit about the 30, once I can get to the 40-second mark,
it's kind of like a hot tub.
Yep. And then I'm like really cold, but I'm chill and I just keep breathing and I sit there. And then I love that my screensaver is set that it pretty much always shuts off around like 35 seconds. So the last 35 seconds, I just have to wait for it to go off. Like, I don't even know how much time I got left. 35 seconds was like 10 minutes.
So do you take a timer with you?
Yeah, I do. I do it on my phone.
On your phone.
Yeah. He got real excited when it snowed the last time. Because then he texted me. He goes, "Bro, did 3 minutes at what was it, like 35 degrees?
35.
Yeah, he's like 3 minutes at 35 degrees,
bro. Because anything under 60, you get the benefits, and they all the way up to like 59.9 you can do, and you're still going to be fine. But if you, it feels different, bro. 36 is so different than like 55. Like by a lot. Like I got out, dude. My skin was red like a tomato.
Oh,
like,
I bet.
Yeah.
But it's so wild because, like, when you say that, even just like a pool, for example, right? When you have pools and a hot tub, and this is typical.
I always
like in a
get
gym
sick
area.
like when that happens for me. When I
pool.
like jump in a hot to cold. I always get sick.
So like a hot tub in like a gym is 104 degrees, right? That's what the minimum is.
Right.
You go to a therapy pool, that's like where the older people are and stuff like that. Those are 94 degrees. Then you go to a regular pool, just like a regular lap pool, and those are at 84 degrees.
Okay.
So the difference is striking because, people have done that, jump into the hot tub, jump into a regular pool, and it's like, oh my God,
freezing,
right?
Yeah.
I could only imagine
going into
under 60
ice
degrees,
bath.
dude. Yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah, I've fallen in love with it. And then it's almost like when you said how hard it was to work out. Like I missed it for almost a straight week. I didn't get them in recently. And then trying to get myself to get in that thing at 4 a.m. was suddenly so much harder. I'm like looking at the water. I'm like procrastinating and stuff, But when I'm in a routine, your tolerance gets better. Like the first time I did one, I freaked the fuck out almost the whole time. Like I was just like, I got to get out of this. This is so crazy. And then the more I do it, you just know, that 30 seconds is going to be a little rough, and then we're going to be cool.
See, I'm interested. Like, I'm curious because I've done the cryotherapies, right?
Yeah, those are supposed to be awesome.
Sit in those for a while, 3 minutes at negative 200 and something,
Yeah.
I've done those before.
That's so fucking wild.
But, and that's crazy too, because, you start to get icicles on your, on your hair, when you're on your arm. You're just like, oh my God, you're like, it's cold. Yeah. And so it's just, yeah.
Damn, bro. That seems wild. It seems like you could get what's that when your skin
Frostbite.
dies? Frostbite. Yeah. No,
because they're only doing it for like a song. Because they'll give you headphones or they'll play the music in there for you, and then it just like the wind.
Do you get to
the
pick
cold
the music?
Is you can put your own music. You hook it up to Bluetooth and stuff like that.
Okay.
So the one that I've gone to, but yeah, then you're just in there for that duration of the song, listening to it, and I always would put on a song that I knew how long it was.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, we're getting close.
Yeah, because then when the end's coming. Yeah, I think it's good. But for someone like me, and all being really blunt about it, it's like someone like me needs to get their nutrition. You got to get your big rocks first. So it's cool that I do cold plunge. It's cool that I lift weights and all that. But I think at my age, the number one thing I gotta get on is diet, bro. And
that's for anyone that's over 40. Work out 3 to 4 times a week, but just clean up your diet.
Yeah.
If you want to live a longer life.
Yeah, I have a habit of compensating with the working out. So I'm like, oh, I didn't do so great with eating. Let's just put more workout in. You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. You can't outwork out.
No,
you can't outwork a bad diet.
The thing is nowadays, like most of us, we have such a sedentary life. We're sitting down all day long. Like for example, myself, I sit at a computer all day. So I need to get up. I need to start moving around. I notice my knees start already giving me issues when I'm sitting down for long periods of time. So so that's one thing. As I've gotten older, I'm I really need to just start working out for my health.
Yeah.
I noticed I was just my health has gone to crap. And then when I just started working out, that's when my body just started, just coming back to life again.
That's awesome.
And then I don't know, because I've just been training for so long, just that little click, that fire started burning inside of me again. And I just started seeing everything. And I'm like, okay.
Because at one point in time,
maybe I should come back. Maybe I think I could do it. And then I watched the World Championships last year with a bunch of friends. We watched it live and we were talking to each other. We kind of did a podcast, some similar to this, but we were all, on our phones and watching it on TV. And a lot of my buddies are like, bro, you could, if you come back, you could, you'd be able to bang with these guys. So I just need to bring up some like lagging body parts, which is my back and my upper body. And then my legs, if I can keep my legs with where they were, yeah, I think I'd be fine.
Yeah, because this guy, at one point in time, he was like 210 pounds.
I got up to like 220 plus for a while.
And then like recently he was like, this is the lowest I've been since when I was in prep. He was like at 180.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm down to like my wedding weight right now.
Yeah.
Like that's what I call it,
Yeah.
But when he was at his wedding weight, he was like super shredded. So he has like a ton of muscle on right now. So he's going to be even bigger. Like, shreds down.
Damn, that's crazy. You know what my wedding weight was?
What?
199.
Was it?
Yeah. Got under 200. But it was terrible, dude. Yeah. I was like running every day, like just running massive miles. I was lifting weights, but not enough to stop all the bad shit I was doing, starving myself and just trying to get that weight under 200. Let's get under. It's like 199. We did it. In my wedding picture, dude, my suit's all baggy on me and shit. Did it the wrong way.
It wasn't fun. I remember for our wedding, like, that was the last year I actually competed because I told my wife, I was like, all right, this is the last year. It was 2018. We're getting married and then I'm going to prep. And then afterwards we're done. Like, I'm not going to compete anymore. But she's actually pretty on board with me competing again. She's like, well, if you really want to, she's like, you can. She's like, I'm not against it because she knows that, I'm training around. I'm not training like in the middle of the day, in regards to like, we need to get things done. I'm like, no, I got to go train.
Your family's still a priority or whatever.
My family's number one priority.
100%.
So, I can go train very, very early, or I'll go train late in the evening.
Yeah.
Or I'll go train during my lunch break or something like that.
Yeah.
To try to get it in. And I'm not really focused. I'm like, not hyper crazy, like, okay, I need to be there and I need to do this. I'm just like, all right, today's this. I'm going to do it for an hour and I'm out. Back then I was like, okay, I have to hit all these muscle groups and I have to do all these reps and all this stuff. Now it's a lot different. Now I'm just like, all right, I'm going to just have a nice push workout, do 3 to 4 exercises, really hit it hard, mind muscle connection, those types of things.
Yeah, that's big.
And then I've just noticed my body's just been changing, and then really zero cardio. Right now I throw in maybe 15 minutes just to warm up. Yeah. As I get older, I like to warm up, and then that's about it. Yeah. And then I do mobility work at home, so I don't have to do it at the gym. Take more time.
I think when you have a family, flexibility is so important, dude.
Yeah.
Like for example, today, you guys, I was in a cold plunge workout. I slept in later than I anticipated. Had a nice big long workout I was planning on doing. Yeah. And
you have your gym here too.
Yep. Yeah, which I love.
Yeah, that's a plus because I also have a gym in my house too. So
hell yeah.
When you have like the ability to work out at home compared to going to the gym. So like for example, a leg day, I could train legs at home.
Yeah,
because I have a squat rack, deadlift platform, leg extension, leg curls, and I have all the things I need to train legs.
Yeah, see, that's dope. So like this morning though, my kids, last night they were playing video games out here on the table, and they had like my daughter she follows after me. She's like a nerd. She's like doing math on a Friday night, but like left all of her stuff all over the table. The whole place was just a mess when I woke up this morning. So I slept too late. And then I woke up and I was like, crap, I got to clean up the house now too. And so all I did was deadlifts. Yeah. I just did like a bunch of sets of deadlifts, and then I was like, got to get ready, or else I'm not going to be ready for the podcast. But it's one of those things where my life's like that all the time, or somebody's got to get picked up from somewhere. You were going to work out. If you tried to work out after work, that's why I love the 4 a.m. because it's my protected time. Like the only thing that sucks is
I'm going to have to start doing that down the road when prep starts. I'm going to have to start waking up like at 4 a.m.
It's the best thing in the world because you're totally done. Check it off for the day. Yeah. And now whatever the family needs, whatever I got to do for my job, whatever's coming up, like I'm just ready. And because anytime I plan it for the end of the day, it just something messes with it or you're just wiped.
Yep. That's another thing. At the end of the day, you're tired.
Yeah. And it's not as good of a workout because you're not
for sure. That's what I was telling you when I switched to evenings and I was like, I hated it, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And I love working out, but I was like, man, this sucks. I don't even look forward to my workout. I'm so tired. Barely putting anything into it. Lifts are all going down. You know, it's just one of those.
It was really nice when the times that he wasn't working out or doing anything like that, is that I got stronger than him. And
I remember you talking about that.
We were just joking around because like then he started working out again, and I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I'm doing 315 on squats for 10, bro. And then he was like, he would text me, he's like, dang, I can't get 315. And then like 2 weeks later, he's like 405, and he's like just squatting down. I'm like, damn it, dude, I had it for a little bit. Like I was just like thinking
2 weeks. That is so.
And then like
funny, dude.
it's nice when like we work out together because then we really push each other hard.
Yeah, Mike's get up pushing me.
And so like because like I always mess around with him, right? Because
when you train by yourself, there's a point where you can't, you don't have a spotter. So if you want to get that extra rep in,
right, failure.
And so we were doing bench, and we're going at it and everything. I think I told you that we were like pushing 275. And I think we got like 4 or 5 like the first time we ever did it.
Yeah.
And then
on bench?
On bench. And we were just going at it. And then after that, we were like texting each other.
I was like, I got it for 10.
Yeah. I was like, what? Damn it. But that's the one thing that when you have a partner and you're working out, because it is in your mind, you're like, shit, I don't want to go past this because I know I won't make it. But if somebody's here yelling at me or teasing me like I tease him, I'm like, you gonna let me be stronger than you today? Like, and he's like, him, Mr. Competitive, he's like, no.
So
I can't find a workout partner at 4 a.m. Mark, dude.
Well, that's the problem.
I push Mark really hard to like try. I would love for him to just come over here and get it in, but he just doesn't. Yeah. And then my son gets it in every day, but he works out with his friends at the school. They have the badass gym over there at the school.
And then these days you go to the gym, and gym's different than back. Let me tell you how it's completely
you haven't been to a gym for a while though.
No, I haven't been to a gym since pre-COVID, I believe.
So so that was the same for me. So it was like 2018, COVID hit. I built my home gym. I started working out at home. COVID was 2019.
Yep.
Something like that.
2020.
Yeah, and then I stopped working out for a while. I took a break. But then I started going back to, the mainstream gyms, like your 24-hour, Vasa, those places.
Yeah.
And it has changed dramatically in regards to like the demographic. Like back in the day, you would see a lot of people going to work out. Now it's social hour. It's, hey, let's take pics. Let's hang out. Let me...
tripods everywhere.
It's like tripods everywhere.
Nice workout fits.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone has matching outfits. I'm like, I have my really nice, gym.
Bro, I would be that old guy if I went back, Pierce. You've seen the old
and then I'm
beat
just
up
wearing
t-shirts.
I'm just wearing a t-shirt and sweatpants.
Yeah.
And just working out or in a hoodie, lifting like heavy weight, and all the people are sitting there looking at you. They're like, "What? Who is this guy?"
It's happening everywhere, dude.
And then they come up to you and they ask you, they're like, bro, what are you doing? What are you on? Or like, what are you? I'm like, man, I was like, you see all you guys over there in that corner over there? You guys are BS. And you guys.
You told them this?
Yeah.
I love this.
I was like, you see all this? I was like, you guys are BS and you guys aren't working out. You guys aren't even sweating. I was like, you guys are sitting there taking pictures of each other.
In your Crocs.
These young kids.
Yeah, and you guys don't even have shoes on.
In their Crocs.
Yeah, the
It's
Croc
like you guys
thing,
are lifting
dude.
and you guys are working out in Crocs.
Bro, this is a thing
I was
now.
like, yeah, it's this new generation thing. I was like, well, so what the? I was like, put on some shoes, start lifting some weights, start breaking a sweat, and then it's mind-boggling.
They're doing like 5 to 10 minutes between a set.
Exactly.
Because they're talking,
it's just mind-boggling.
Hanging out.
I was like, when I was with my friends in high school, we would work out, but we'd push each other.
Yeah.
We'd be sitting there. I'm like, all right, let's go. On bench press or on something. We'd be like screaming.
Yeah.
We were kids, but we were still like pushing each other.
That's my son.
You don't
friends.
see it at these gyms. No, it's
that's
like
weird.
It's all. I have my phone, and I'm going to take more pics and more reps.
Social media, dude.
That's
changed
one
everything.
thing. Like I'm just like, I was like,
so do you work out more at home or at the gym now?
I like to go to the gym. Just like,
are you just like irritated the whole time?
No, but I go to the gym. I put in my headphones.
Oh yeah.
I don't talk to anyone.
Yep.
And I work out. I literally don't talk to anyone when I go to the gym.
Yeah,
I'm there for one and one thing only, to train.
Right.
So I'm sitting there. I work out, get my session in. It usually takes me an hour, tops an hour and a half. And I'm out. And then I'm done. I'm done for the day. But I'm there not to socialize. I'm there not to, take pics. I'm there just to work out, get my session in.
How many days a week are you doing?
Right now I'm training 5 to 6 days a week.
5 to 6.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you decide the 6th day, like just based on how you're feeling?
6 days, weekends is tough for me because of, family things. And then Sundays I always take off. Sundays, church. I've become a devout Christian, so I'm in church every single Sunday. I just can't miss church.
Yeah.
So, and then sometimes Wednesdays, I like to go to Bible study too. Yeah. So if not, I'll go I'll work out at lunch or something.
Life feeling pretty grounded these days.
Life's changed, man, to be honest with you. I'm a lot older. A lot of things have happened in my life, so I've gotten a lot closer, you would say. Like my faith, in God has changed. So I've really, really started, going to church, reading the Bible, things like that. I could tell you my testimony, but there's just a lot of things that have changed in my life, and it's been amazing for me and for my family.
I think it's a neglected part of physical health for people.
Yeah,
like having the spirituality,
in your faith, your spirituality, exactly. So for me, it's Jesus Christ, and He's really, really helped me, and I found fulfillment following Him, and peace.
Yeah.
So, and it's great for me and my family. So
that's great, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I've talked about it, Pierce. My history with I've had too many bad experiences with churches. That's what really bothers me. I feel like
I had bad experience with church myself. I was in a church for 2 years, and I changed, man. Yeah. It really changed me. I was in a very, very fundamentalist church, and it was like, brim fire selling, brim, like you're going to hell.
That's what I grew up with.
Fire, if you don't do this, you're gonna burn in hell.
What kind of church was it?
It was called an IFB, Independent Fundamental Baptist Church. This is the word. Like those are like the out of all churches, Christian churches, I would say that those are like the most hateful, not hateful, but judgmental. Like you have to follow everything to a T 100%.
Have you ever been to a Pentecostal church or a United Pentecostal church?
Pentecostal's a little different. Those are more speaking in tongues type things.
Yeah, that's why my uncle's a Pentecostal preacher. I grew up. That's where I grew up. And
okay.
I've shared the story on the podcast where I faked tongues one time.
Yeah,
that was one of those really bad experiences.
So no, I've never actually been. I've always been either. I was raised Roman Catholic my entire life. I went to Catholic school all my life. And then I left the church, and then I went over to this, it was a Protestant church, obviously, so independent. So it was a Bible-believing church, but that's what they said. It was Bible, 100% Bible-believing. But they followed the King James version of the Bible. So
that's what I grew up on, too.
And so, so... It was good for me at first. It was really, really good in regards to I had like regained, or I had gotten closer again to God, my relationship, my one-on-one relationship with God. But there was just a lot of things that were really, it's kind of hard to explain. It made me an angry person, I could say. Like the world, like the world's evil, everything's evil, like all this stuff. And I was like, everything I saw was like sin, hate, and and then I had to leave. I was like, no, this is really hard on, like, it was hard on my marriage. It was hard on a lot of things. So
interesting.
He was Bobby Boucher's mom from Waterboy.
Honestly, I was.
That's the devil.
That's the devil.
Yeah.
And I know, like, as a Christian, we're all sinners, we all fall short to the glory of God, as the Bible says, and that's why Jesus came here. obviously, to die for
to
us.
right us with
die for our sins on the cross, so because no one's perfect. And the point is, to have faith in him, and understand what he did, but not just point out everyone's sin and be like, yo, you're evil, you're evil, you're evil, because that's so hypocritical, because you're just as evil as, the person that you're calling out yourself. If you're, because there's only one person that's going to judge you, and that's God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where I was like starting to get to the point. I'm like, I just can't like be going to everyone and being like, yo, that's wrong, that's evil.
There's so much of that out there.
Yeah. Our world's loony right now. Yeah. Do you like, it's to the point where it's beyond loony. It's worse than it was, But, I can't be like the judge and say like, no. There's, some things that I have to like abide and tell my son, no, that's right and wrong. That's not right. That's, But besides that, I've changed, and it's been a better thing for me. But Christianity is amazing, but there's bad things about Christianity. I'll be honest with you, like those type of people that are just so like hateful and judgmental. From what I've seen.
Yep. I would agree. I've seen so much of that too.
And that can come from any, religion, like a Muslim, or, anything. But there's just some things that just fall out of order, and not even if it is religion, if it's just based off science, if it, falls out of order, I'm just going to be like, okay, no, that doesn't work. So I'm going to say, no, that's not right. And I'm going to let my son know, no, that's not right either, son. Yeah. And if the culture thinks it's okay, well, let the culture think it's okay. Yeah. But there are some things that are, I don't really want to get into it but there's,
why not?
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in my opinion, there's only a man and a woman, period.
Oh yeah.
You die.
Let's get into it, bro.
When you dig up your bones, you're either going to be a man or a woman.
Yeah.
Period. That's what science says. If you don't believe in God, that's what science says. You have either, you have your chromosomes, you're either a boy or a girl. If you are one in one, what is it? The Klinefelters.
Yeah, right. There's
then
very small,
very small. But there's not all these other things like in between and stuff. So that's what the things that get to me. But I'm just like, you know what? This is a crazy world we live in these days. It's just.
Yeah,
I don't know, and a lot of people are like, "Man, this guy is gonna he's such an ass," and he's
who cares? I don't even care
anymore, and I'm just like, no, I was like, I'm sorry, man. I'm like, this is a boy and a girl, period. I was like, you can think you're a girl, cool, but you really aren't a girl.
That's what makes the world, right? The difference of opinions and like people's, sharing of what they. And that's the other thing too, like the people that are like willing to share what they think, right? Some of them that are genuinely honest and this and that, and not, afraid to tell their opinions in person, not just like the internet tough people. And,
I'm not afraid to do it. I've had many discussions with people about I believe in God. God created man and woman. Or if you believe in science, there's only
I was going to say, I don't even think it's tied to
science. So you believe in either, a male or a female.
And I'm perfectly fine with people who, I am XYZ, fill it in, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's
cool. Do your thing. Like, I'm not,
do your thing. Yeah, that's
I'm not trying to judge anybody, but at the same time,
I don't agree with it. I just don't like in terms of, okay, you can think what you want to think, but that's not truth. You know what I mean? Like,
there's so much anger and vitriol. Like when we talked back in the day about Bruce Leroy at the supermarket or whatever, and he called somebody sir, and the person had a beard and whatever, and that just went off on him. And that's one of those things where it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like you could do what you want, but you can't be mad at people for walking around, and you know what I mean? Like might as well. Same thing. People, you get blowback for saying stuff like this, but I'm like, if you're walking around and you're like, oh, that's not a mountain from now on, that's a fucking swimming pool.
Yeah.
That's a swimming pool now, and we're going to recognize the swimming pool, and you need to recognize the swimming pool, and you do.
Yeah.
Because that's what I believe it is, and you have to respect my beliefs. Like, that kind of stuff to me is just like, do your thing, do whatever you want, and if you want, but you can't expect everybody to believe the same thing you believe, and you can't. At the end of the day, Jesus said, "Love each other." Like that's the ultimate command: is just love each other, right?
Yeah.
And so that's not a lot of that stuff coming back is not love, dude.
No.
It's not love at all.
Exactly. I agree. There's a lot of things in Scripture, man. When you start reading the Bible, man, it opens your eyes to a lot. But there's a lot of things that, at the very end, God will judge us. Like it says, if you believe in Jesus. But, anyways, if you believe in a higher power, we will always, when we die, we're gonna have to, sit before whoever and say, hey. And he's going to say, he'll judge you. So, that's how I believe. But everyone has their own beliefs.
Yeah, man.
I know this country was founded on Christianity, like laws and morals and stuff like that. So, but
it's a weird world.
We're living in a weird, crazy world these days. It's not the same as when we were kids. That's for sure.
No. Well, and that's the thing too, is I would advise, since you have, a young kid, and I got really hit at the worst time. Like my son was born in 2006, and then like the iPhone came out in 08, and then it was just like on from then on, like internet and everything. And then my two daughters were born in 09 and 10. And so they've grown up with this thing, and what it's created is that if your kids are just sort of like online, unfiltered, whatever, there's this direct communication between corporations and this bigger world.
Yeah, they're getting brainwashed by, I know what you mean.
For sure. And when we were growing up, that wasn't as possible. It was like maybe if you were hanging around bad friends or something, that could happen. But it wasn't like now where a kid can disappear into the room, shut the door, and for 6 hours they're being influenced by who knows, bro?
An influencer.
Yeah. And then so you hear something come out of your kid's mouth, and you're just like, what the heck? Where's that from?
Exactly.
Yeah. So be careful with that stuff. It's so hard. And
we were kids, we were outside playing.
For sure. We always talk about it. They used to shut the door on us. They would shut and lock the door. I remember my uncle, and he'd be like, go find something to do. And they would just shut the door. I'm thirsty. Turn the hose on.
Summertime, when it's getting dark, be home.
Yeah.
Because we're outside on our bikes. We're outside rollerblading or outside skateboarding.
And it's everywhere. I went to the neighborhood.
We were kids. Nowadays, everyone's like stuck inside on their pads or playing video games.
I wouldn't even say like we were the video game age, right? We're going to start coming out. We had
but we were still always outside playing
that's
games.
What I'm saying. We had Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and N64, the Genesis, the PlayStation when it came out, right? The Dreamcast, the GameCube, all those things were still around when we were kids, but I wasn't just dedicating my entire life to perfect games or hang out and play these games.
The thing is they have the live thing. So you can talk to your friends. So instead of actually having like a one-on-one with a friend, you're doing it virtually. So it really messes with the kids' personal skills. You could say
interpersonal skills. Oh, I see it all the time, dude, because I teach middle school.
Oh,
and the kids, they just don't have those skills. Like they would rather sit in the same room and text each other than actually have a conversation or to.
And then these days, you try to talk to kids, they won't even look at you directly, at your eyes or anything. Yep. They'll look down because it's weird. Mm-hmm. It's hard to explain, but there's pros and cons to all this new technology.
For sure.
And you could see it on society.
I'd say my struggle with technology is kind of similar to my struggle with religion, like with church and stuff. It's like I feel like I get very distrustful in the hands of mankind, man. Like I feel like people get a hold of stuff and greed and lust and
what
all
I
these
love
things just kind of
for me for church
people.
For me is it's that 1 hour when I can go listen to scripture and just like my one-on-one with God, where I can just, it's quiet. I can just pray. I can, talk personally with him. You can do that anywhere, but for me, I like,
it's formalized.
Yeah.
And I get that. That's why I actually I've told you before, like I love my wife's church because she's Catholic.
Yeah. I've returned back to the Catholic Church too. So we've been going back to the Basilica downtown.
Is that where you go now?
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Really? See, and that's what I love about the Catholic Church. I feel like like in Christian church, it depends on the church. Obviously.
It depends on the church. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't talk about all of them, but like for sure, I just would feel like with certain churches, I'd get a weird feeling, or I'd see like really hypocritical stuff. And I'm not trying to judge, but I'm like, also, is this how we're representing this, and we have this kind of behavior? Whether it's, I want to get into it.
So we tried like when we left that church, we like started going and trying different places.
Yeah.
You know, I went to one place. It was like a rock concert, like a legit rock concert. That's what it felt like.
I was part of one of those.
They had a stage and they were singing, praising God. It was just cool, but I just didn't really, it wasn't my thing. I wasn't feeling it. And then as I've gotten older, I went back to, it was Christmas. It was actually on Christmas. And I went back to the Catholic Church for Christmas Mass. And they were just reading the gospel.
It's not all the fluff and buff.
They were just reading the gospel, 100%. The father, the priest was just reading the gospel, and I was like, "Whoa!" And it hit me really hard because I had already been reading the Bible all the time because I'm always
same.
I bring the Bible to church. I mean, not to church, to work. Like during breaks, I'll sometimes bust it out and start reading. So they were just reading the Gospel of John, and I'm just like, this is, I liked it. And then I just like the quiet, peacefulness, because other places are loud, and I just...
Well, I don't know if you remember, I went so deep with that. Like I was on the worship team and performing. I was like the Bible camp guy where I was taking 16 kids to Bible camp. Yeah.
Preaching the gospel with a bunch of other guys. I got really into the church, the prior church I was in as well. So it was one thing that it's hard to explain. It just didn't fit for me. Like each church is different, like we're all different people, but it all leads to Christ, but the thing was, it just didn't work for me. So I just went back to the Roman Catholic Church, and for me,
well, that's what,
my family is all Roman Catholic, and we all go together. So it's great. It's a great time.
That's a whole nother level.
And it's
that's
great.
Awesome.
And it's a great time for our entire family to reflect on our flaws, and be grateful for the things we have, and just to, go and spend time with God,
Bro, I talk so much. That's why we have a podcast. Like I talk like crazy.
I could talk about this forever,
but I always find after church, like that's when I'm like my quietest, dude. Like because you're just reflecting, and suddenly it always is this humbling aspect.
And then like I like to listen to the homily, especially at the cathedral, because just a rector there, he's just a great speaker. He has really good homilies and really good messages, and what I've heard since I've been back is all just been positive things. Nothing just like ribbon and firestone like the other places that like.
Well, that's what like Tier grew up on too. Just the strict, Christian thing, and this and that. And that's what ruined. She always says ruined church for her. Being the people so judgmental and throwing stones when they're the ones. Throwing stones in the glass house, and so that's what. Tier changed. She does the non-denominational, so the rock concert that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So she does like the Red Rocks Church, where it's non-denominational and it's just like a lot of music and stuff like that. And my parents, my stepmom, she goes to Calvary.
Calvary's non-denominational. It's a Christian church.
Calvary,
are there multiple Calvaries?
Yeah,
there's multiple Calvaries.
Yeah, because they used to have one.
Yeah, they're all just Christian churches that just read the Bible.
And so at the Calvaries, I remember one time they came down here for Christmas, and she wanted us to go to
Calvary's not bad actually.
Christmas. She wanted us to go there, and celebrate, Christmas Eve at Calvary. And so we went there, and I was like. And I've been to Red Rocks with with the wifey before, because church is not my thing. Dollar. And so, when we went to Calvary, I remember, like I said, I was like, I've been used to the rock concert, the singing, stuff like that. But I felt like when we were at Calvary, I was like, oh my God. I was like, how many songs are we going to play this whole time? Like, I was like, is anybody going to talk? It's like,
it was funny for me too when I was on the worship team, because I had played music my whole life and performed my whole life, and it was the lack of clapping. Always felt so weird to me, because you finish a song, you're not there to like get applause. People aren't really applauding. You finish the song and then somebody talks a little bit, and then we play another song or whatever. But I remember that being the weirdest feeling where you
just for me, like that was
It's
different.
just like awkward quiet.
Like I grew up in a very conservative like home and like going to Catholic church. So when I started going to this church, like people would like be bringing in sodas and coffees and donuts and chips, and I'm like, what's going on here?
It's after church.
I was like, that's after church. Church. You know, like
people eating in church.
Like they would be like just listening, just like
like a passive, like you're listening to.
It was and they'd be like people screaming, like the pastor would say something and they'd be like, praise the Lord, hallelujah. Someone in the back, just be like, what's going on?
So that's our thing. Like I know I've told him before, like, and I've told you, like, I grew up Catholic as well. I was baptized and all that stuff. And I remember when we went to church, my grandma would take us, right? And we'd go with my aunts and all that stuff. And I always remember like going to church and be like, donuts are after this, like, because you always, it's afterwards, not before or anything like that.
For sure.
Like at those other places like Red Rocks, stuff like that, they do everything like before. You can get your donuts and everything.
Really?
And, like,
You can.
But yeah, so I just remember that when I was a kid, just like, oh man, there's donuts after this, dude. I'm like, I just got excited. Like,
Well, that was my kids too. I remember. But even at the Christian church, like where I was on the worship team, the food was after. It was like always.
I just imagine you though when you were talking about your music and no clapping and everything like that. Hey, what's up, Red Rocks? What's going on, everybody? So all of the worship team here. Can I get how is everybody doing out there?
But that's not far from.
Hello, no. Okay,
I
said I can't hear you.
Well, see, they would do stuff like that though, and they could get people to like get into it, maybe even clap or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was never that way with the music. It was like because the song is a worship, you know what I mean? And so when you finish, it's kind of like not like, wow, you guys are killing it up there. Even though people would say that to us afterward, they'd be like, that was so fire, that was really great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's not supposed to be the idea. It's not a performance, dude. And I think that's what got to me after a while too. It was just too much. And for me, being a performer my whole life, like I couldn't separate the two. And I was like, we're really treating this like a concert, guys.
Just try it. Take your family one time. Just check it out. It's beautiful. It's crazy because it's right off Colfax, like in downtown Denver.
Oh, that's where I work.
Okay, so it's a basilica. It's a cathedral.
You've seen it, dog.
So it's they call it like the mother church of the Archdiocese of Denver. So it's like the main, like the head church of Colorado. Cool. It's beautiful.
We went to a beautiful Catholic church in New York, and I can't remember what it was. I have pictures and stuff, but it was, dude, it was so incredible.
If you got 10:30, the 10:30 mass is
10:30.
Yeah. But anyways, man, we started, going from bodybuilding into God, but
yeah, bro, we talk about whatever. Yeah. That's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of this show. We just literally just regular dudes talking about regular stuff.
And then there's people that are like, "Oh, you're Catholic. Oh, you guys believe in this and this." And I was like, "No, we don't," because there's a lot of like, I would say, misinformation. When it comes to a Catholic and what we believe and like what Protestants believe, and things.
I think what everybody, it's like,
I was like, bro, I'd be hearing things. So I grew up as a Catholic. So then I would be at this other church and they'd be like, Catholic people believe in this and this and this and this. And I'm like, I'd just be sitting there and be like, no, we don't, dude. I was like, you have no idea. It's kind of, it's very hypocritical.
I read on the internet.
Yeah. I read on the internet, you guys believe that you guys pray to Mary and she's God to you. I'm like, no, we don't. All this stuff, Yeah. You guys don't even believe in Jesus. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I've heard people say that about my wife too.
And I'm like, what? I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about. So
I think that's so much of that with everything.
It's everything. Yeah. It's just like a battle. It's a power it's like a power trip on like everything these days. So
I don't know if, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I wanted to let you know also my mother-in-law is gonna be in town next week, and you've always said you wanted to talk to her about the Jewish stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, no, like I've like believe me, like it's difficult. Like, well, Jesus was Jewish.
Yeah.
And if you read the Bible, like if you really, I can really get deep into scripture, and then everyone's gonna be like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Do what you do, bro.
But Jesus is going to, obviously, he says he's going to return, and that's in all Christianity. The Book of Revelation is the final book of the Bible, of the New Testament, which is the same New Testament as the Catholic or the Protestant Bible.
Yep.
So he's going to return. and the blessed hope is going to happen. So that's when, that's when Jesus comes back, and then he will judge the living and the dead, basically.
Can I ask all of our listeners to get down on your knees right now?
No, I'm just saying that's what Scripture says.
Yeah.
For any Christian of any denomination, they all believe the same thing, that Jesus will return. So, during the toughest of times, when things have gone to complete bananas in the world. So